Hey, everybody, and welcome to Book O'Clock, where we clock in with a new book and give it an honest review. Today, I'm going to be doing a Caraval by Stephanie Garber. This podcast is available on Spotify, Amazon, Apple Music, and I will break this book review into 4 parts: the book title, author, synopsis, and tags I would use to classify it. 2, my spoiler-free general review of the book as a whole. 3, a spoiler warning for anyone who wants to tune out and read the book for themselves, followed by my tells and feels of the book and some mild spoilers to my favorite or least favorite parts. Number 4, my overall rating out of 10 for this book. So, let's get the pages turning. And today, we're reading Caraval by Stephanie Garber. A legendary competition, a mesmerizing romance, an unbreakable bond between two sisters. Scarlet Dragna had never left the tiny island where she and her sister Tella lived with their powerful and cruel father. Now, Scarlet's father had arranged a marriage for her, and Scarlet thinks her dreams of seeing Caraval, the faraway, once-a-year performance where an audience participates in the show, are over. But this year, Scarlet's long-dreamt invitation finally arrives. With the help of a mysterious sailor, Tella whisks Scarlet away to the show. Only as soon as they arrive, Tella is kidnapped by Caraval's mastermind organizer, Legend. It turns out that this season's Caraval revolves around Tella, and whoever finds her sister is the winner. Scarlet has been told that everything that happens during Caraval is only an elaborate performance, but she nevertheless becomes mesmerized in the game of love, heartbreak, and magic with the other players in the game. And whether Caraval is real or not, she must find Tella before the 5 nights of the game are over. A dangerous domino effect of consequences is set off, and her sister disappears forever. Welcome, welcome to Caraval. Beware of getting swept too far away. This book I would tag as fantasy, magic, bit of mystery, adventure, romance, and high stakes. My overall review of this book. Now, this book was highly recommended to me through Book Talk, TikTok. So I'm learning to never trust Book Talk because this book was not my favorite. I like it, but nah. The main character, Scarlet, is very annoying. She talks only about her sister the entire book. And I know you have sisterly love, and the reason she's in Caraval is to save her sister, but at no point does she ever stop talking about her sister, and it drives me up the wall and never looks at the bigger picture. Ever. This book is set in kind of an industrial, early development era, so very, I don't want to call it steampunky era, but a little bit, it's kind of, like I said, it's industrial. It's not modern times, but it's not fantasy kings and queens. There's a lot of magic, and it's really cool magic. It's really unique. It's not something I've ever seen in a book before. It's hard to tell what's real and what's not. It's a really cool game. The design of what Caraval actually is a really, really cool concept. The characters, so Tella, Scarlet, and the mysterious sailor, Julian, their character development is mediocre at best. I don't love it. Scarlet doesn't really change at all and still only talks about her sister through the whole book. Julian has the most change, but I don't find it to be an interesting change. This is not a romance. I mean, I classified it as a romance book because there is the theory of a romance, but it's not romantic. The romance development between the characters is not, I don't like it. It's not very juicy. It's mostly a game about a competition with the idea of a possibility of a romance. I don't know why the book describes it as a mesmerizing romance. I wouldn't say I was mesmerized by it at all. The plot is extremely unique. I really, really liked the game theory of it being on this island of Caraval and everything is a performance. You never know what's real, the magic. Really, really, really cool world building. I would love to visit this place. I mean, it's very dangerous, as you see in the game while reading the book, but it's really cool. The plot twists were unique, but they did kind of require an over explanation. So when they got to the plot twist, you're like, wow, what? And then it would take like 2 pages to explain what the plot twist was, and you'd go, oh, wow, that's crazy. Wow. Definitely had some really unforgettable magical moments in it. It had a really unique use of letters and notes. So when you're reading the book, it's not just pages and pages of text. There are images of torn notes out of books, invitations, and letters. So it's really cool just the way that they show it off in the book itself. So I really just enjoyed the way that the book flowed. It's kind of broken down into the nights of Caraval, which is 5 nights. So it's like night 1, night 2, night 3, night 4. And so it flows really well. But overall, like I said, it just wasn't necessarily my favorite because I didn't really care for any of the characters, especially Scarlet. But we'll get into that now. Welcome to part 3, the spoiler warning! From here on out, I will be reflecting on my feelings during the book, and this may contain mild spoilers. If you'd like to read this book yourself, you may clock out now. Check out my other reviews or recommend more books for me to review. Like I said, Scarlet, I don't like. The female main character will not stop talking about her sister and never looks at the bigger picture, ever. She's like in the middle of life or death, and she's like, Stella. I'm like, I don't care. I don't care about your sister right now. They've made it very clear that your sister's fine and safe right now, and you're just so... She's very annoying. I really did not care for the main character at all, and that makes it hard for me to read a book if I don't care about the main character. I was hoping she'd have a good development. She didn't. I don't care. The magical elements of the book, however, phenomenal. One of my favorite ones was the mood-changing dress. So she gets this dress when she first enters Caraval, and she puts it on, and she's like, oh, it's just this plain, weird, ugly thing. But as she moves throughout the night, in the days, the dress changes. So it'll become this black, elegant, lacy thing, or then it becomes this silken, pink, and frilly. Like, it changes as she does activities, and it is so cool. I'd love a dress that changes moods and colors. That's beautiful. However, it does get a little scandalous at sometimes because depending on the mood she's in. The riddles, really cool. The puzzles were fun to solve. The exchanging for secrets for other dresses that she could purchase was cool. And then the environment of the whole Caraval was just really enjoyable. It's a place you'd want to visit if you had that opportunity. If it was real, you'd want to visit it. The female main character barely develops and is kind of stupid while solving things and is constantly making wrong and weird choices. I don't think she thinks anything through, and I just don't care for her at all. The romance is meh at best. It feels really forced and fake, and it's barely developed. They kiss one time, and it's like, mwah. Okay, see ya. It's not a romance I enjoyed, because I really didn't feel for either of these characters. Each night, though, so like I said, the book is broken up into its nights of Caraval. Really cool. Each night was very different puzzles, very different activities. The style and the way she solved the riddles and puzzles and came across things was cool. Didn't make a lot of sense because I thought all of her choices were stupid, but I don't know, it was odd. The finale, though, of the book was really fun. Her taking that leap of faith and jumping down and it had a really, really, really cool twist where you thought he died and she was like breaking down in tears, and it was a very intense last moment. And I was like, oh, this is a good way to end the book. But then that wasn't even the ending. The actual final plot was less exciting than the jumping through the well part. Everything was fine, and everybody knew about everything that was happening. Even the sister, even Tella was in on it. And it was pre-planned, and Julian knew the whole time. And so the romance, after he revealed everything, was like, oh, it's really forced and not passionate romance. But apparently we still have feelings for each other. Yay! I don't know. I could have seen a better romance, and that wasn't good. The cliffhanger to the next book was a good lead-in, where she gets a note from Legend saying that she has to pay up for what she asked for in order to get her and her sister to the island. So the next book probably has a good storyline. I'm not probably going to read it because this one was meh at best to me, but it was a good cliffhanger and lead into the next book and left you with a lot of questions to be had about who Legend is and what's going on. Good read, really magical, really unique elements. I just don't care for the characters themselves, and I think the second book is going to follow Tella as opposed to Scarlet, who it was Scarlet that I didn't like, but based off of how much we would talk about Tella, I just don't think I'd like her either. I think I'd like her less. So, I don't know. Maybe not for me. Maybe it's for you. Check the book out if you want to. I know I didn't give it my all-fire review, but that's my honest truth about the book, is I thought it was meh. I know everybody was talking big about this book, but it just... for an enemies to lovers, a romance, it just didn't do it for me, which is my favorite type. The magic, like I said, phenomenal. 10 out of 10, love the magic, love the riddles, love the puzzling, love the high stakes, but outside of that, I would rate this book at a 6 out of 10. So, thank you so much for listening. If you like this review, if you don't like this review, leave a like, leave a comment, and tell me how much you hate me for destroying this book. Caraval by Stephanie Garber. Check out my other episodes on Amazon, Spotify, and Apple Music. But for now, I'm clocking out. I'll see you next time. Bye!